Well,
Ah!
I knew it was gonna come out. I was just holding it.
I thought I was gonna get at least like a warning.
No, because I took the cage out and I knew it was coming out, so I was like, I wanted to hurry up and get to it, but it popped because guess what?
We hit 1,000 subscribers.
Yay! Oh my God! I'm
Yay!
Pioneer Peru.
I'm Trailblazer Nick,
and this is Pioneers and Trailblazers Celebration Edition.
Yes.
And I think we've had bubbles before as mommy juice.
Have we?
Maybe once, I think, because I think I had a bottle, remember, and then we just had it
maybe.
from like the holidays. But we never had it like within reason, I guess, to celebrate. And you know, bubbles are meant for celebratory occasions. So I figured Miss Nick and Miss Peru would have some bubbly.
Well, first, let's just give a toast.
Oh my God. In
In
my
my
life.
No, I just want to say thank you to all of the townspeople, all of the new townspeople who have since joined, who have created our town to go over the 1,000 people mark, which now means our videos can be monetized on YouTube.
Well, sure, yes, but more importantly too, it means that now, speaking of the algorithm, Tina,
We'll get pushed more.
will get pushed more. You know, like it's like these like small milestones. You know, might not mean a lot to like in the bigger scheme of things, but this is good news because it means that you guys, wow, y'all are interested and people are here for us.
And honestly, cheers to our haters.
Which we're gonna get
into.
into. But for now, cheers townspeople, cheers town council members, and cheers trust and believers. We all love y'all so much.
Ooh.
Ooh. Good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Okay, great. Well, oh my God, Miss Nick. You know, somebody did comment, you know, on one of the videos being like, listen, once you got the haters, it means you've truly made it.
And for those who don't follow us on Instagram, we were informed. We recently had a reel of ours go, you know, do fairly well on Instagram.
Yeah,
reels.
so I would say viral, you know.
Yeah, like a soft viral moment.
I guess 350,000 would be considered. I think from that point on is viral. Maybe 500,000 is viral. And then now we're like...
It's like a soft viral. I feel like there's different tiers to virality. You
Of
know,
course.
there's like the big viral that everybody knows about. And then there's like, you know, you do big and like for the week. You know,
For the
you're kind
week.
of
Yeah,
you're kind of
yeah,
popular
yeah.
for the week.
Although, again, and also, like, if you're here from Instagram, too, because I know comments being like, oh, the Instagram, the video, whatever. Like, if you're watching this because you saw that video, hello.
Hi,
Welcome
shout
in.
out. But yeah, we were informed that like over the summer back in August, some podcast made like a reaction video, literally for a full hour, just talking shit about us.
Literally.
Which was like so funny, and it's just like a group. It's just like two straight men. It's like two straight men, and then they had a puppet.
Called Tookie. So shout out to Ray, townsperson Ray. Thank you for this. You know, like a very diligent townsperson.
Mhm.
Ray was like, Divalicious. Here's the link to some people talking shit about you
And
guys.
read the title. Read the title for the people.
The title is Insufferable Flamboyant Dudes Think They're Stars, which honestly should be the title of the app. And honestly,
we get more views than them.
absolutely. That's officially the title, and then parentheses, we reached 1,000 subs. But
Because we are stars.
because we are stars, and to the 1,000 people that are subscribed, we are the freaking stars.
Well, and I would say tell that to my social media following and Peru's social media following. Clearly, like we have.
Listen, well, yeah, of course. Well, on Instagram, I think we both share. I mean, I think I'm just a little bit over you, but of course, TikTok, you've got your
I got my
your
people
domain.
on there. I got my people on there.
And listen, we're gonna, because I did my due diligence because I'm deranged, and I was like, oh, I want to know every single piece of things that they were saying about us.
I could only watch like the first like 10 minutes of it, and then I got bored.
Well, that's the thing, though, because the gag with this is like the first 10 minutes, and let me tell you, shout out to this is the account is called Who Are These Podcasts, and the whole premise of this account is they literally just like research, or they get sent like a random podcast video channel, and then they just talk shit about it or review it.
Sure.
And I'm like, listen, one of their comments about us was that we're just talking about our daily lives and there's nothing else really going on. I'm like, talk about lazy when your entire channel is just about critiquing other channels.
Well, yeah. Well, and the thing is like it's like two straight white men who are like who I guess they must I think classify themselves as comedians, but like unfortunately none of the jokes that they made were very funny.
I don't think they are because I took a look at their website and I don't know why my accent came out like
Yeah,
that.
okay.
The website, and first of all, website is giving boomer, unfortunately.
Well, because they're old.
Yes, but which again,
I love
kudos.
fucking olds. I mean, I
Yes.
wouldn't fuck either of them, but
well,
I would fuck
you
an
would
old.
fuck one of them.
No, I wouldn't.
Honey, I know you, sister. Let's keep the
I
tea
wouldn't.
real.
I wouldn't.
Well, now that you've heard him talk shit about us, you
No, but
would,
even one of them hit me up on Grindr, I'd be like, ugh. I'm getting out of my old man phase. I think I fucked my last old
which we'll get to
forever.
and I'll tell you who has been fucking Miss Peru.
Oh, okay.
But so I'm sad you actually didn't get to because
I got to the point where they like switched over. I watched the first full critique of the first episode.
yeah,
that they
which is
watched.
how they introed us. You know, get to know Peru and Nick.
And then they were like, no. My favorite thing was that like,
Oh, I took notes.
oh god. My favorite was just like I told a story that was like really dumb, and then afterwards I was like, oh, that was done. There was no point to that. And then Prue and I both laughed our ass off at that because we thought that was both funny. And then, but they had prefaced it because like they do their research, whatever, and they like give a little blurb before they show a clip. And then they're like, well, Nick tells a story that doesn't lead anywhere. And then I was like, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I clocked that. I self-clocked. Like, and that's like the whole point of why it was funny.
You can't clock someone who already done clocked themselves.
And there were so many moments where I could tell that both of those two men were like trying to hold back laughter and giggles because like they clearly thought we were funny. But then for the whole point of their podcast is that like they're haters. So they're like,
and the thing is like because there's different types of viewership and like listen. I'm gonna own up, and I'm not gonna say the account because I don't want to be that mean. But there is on my YouTube, like on the shorts, whatever. There's random algorithm thing is that there's like middle-aged. No, sorry, not middle-aged. She is younger than me, and that's all I'm gonna say. But she looks like she's, in her 40s, which whatever. Like
that's some people's tea. That's Millie Bobby Brown's tea.
I know. Whoop. Middle America.
Shout out Electric
Shout out
State.
Electric State. But she does these videos of like a low middle class mom making dinner for her family of 7, whatever. And like, it's like, oh God, it's like, I hate watching because I'm just like.
Because you're classist.
Because I'm like, what are you feeding those kids? And like, it's. And whatever. And like,
You hate poor people.
But I'm hate watching it so much that like I'm actually looking out for her videos. Like I'm actually
That's like,
loving it.
There's this girl,
That's them.
There's this girl on TikTok. What was her? I think her name was Molly. I think she's still posting. But like,
Shout out.
She didn't have a huge following, but her views were insane. Like if you went to her views, like every single video had like 100,000+ views.
Wow.
But then you'd go to the likes and it had like 500 likes.
People be hating.
Because people were hate watching because this woman would be like live recording like her going on dates with men, and it would be like just
During the date.
She would like only record when they like go to the bathroom. She's like, yeah, so he's in the bathroom right now, and she was like crazy and delusional, more so than me. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's
and,
saying
like,
something.
No, I know. And so then everyone started hate watching her, and then everybody was like posting. This was like over the summer. Everybody was like posting videos talking about her, all this stuff. And she quit her job as a teacher to pursue TikTok full time. It was like this whole thing. But then once she did that, then she started rage baiting because like obviously when you do that, you get more views. So she like. Unfortunately started pulling stunts that were like really kind of offensive. Like one of them was like she like went to this Halloween like haunted house sort of thing, and she like had done her face up, like she like made it look like her face looked bruised, and she was like, story time about my most recent date, really bad ending. And everyone was, and she was like cosplaying as like a domestic violence victim.
Oh.
And everyone was like, and she got majorly canceled. She had to like post like a apology video, whatever. It was like this whole thing, but it was the talk of TikTok, or the side of TikTok that I was on for weeks. And I was like, and the thing was, is like, I could not escape her because so many people were talking about her. Either they were reposting her videos, or like people would be stitching them, or like it just would come up on my For You page, and I'd be like, I'm trapped. This woman has me in prison. Like, this is crazy.
Which, I mean, it goes to show that, like, when people consume something, like, ultimately...
Molly
like,
Reuter, that was her name.
Oh, Molly, girl. I hope you're doing well, Molly.
No, shout out to her. She'd bring her dogs to every single date. She'd, like, walk them, and then everyone's like, babe, leave your dogs at home. And she's like, they're my family.
Yeah, but you know, your family to fucking date.
She did.
Anyway, so you could tell that, especially the lead one. I didn't write their names down, but the lead one, there was research and development for like their episode for us.
No, I am curious how many hours that they
links-
spent with us. Like
Yes.
that is like kind of crazy.
Because the thing is, like, one, to choose which video, you know? How did they go about choose? Because at that point we had already like been getting closer to wrapping up season 1.
Yeah,
So
we're
it's
in the
like,
tail end.
so I'm like, up until what point did you have to watch all the episodes to find what you thought was like cringiest or nastiest or stupidest?
They probably just had like their producer, like one of their like producers on it, like do it.
But it was so funny. And so like what you missed was, okay, the intro was one of our early episodes, and then like the other one was the episode The Second Dick Has Hit the Hole.
Oh.
That's the one that they reviewed and they spent all the time on, because the whole lead up was that I got DP'd. And of course, like there you clocked this too, y'all. When I tell you, these two divas and Miss Tookie, shout out Miss Tookie, the Muppet that barely talked.
Right, and then every time they'd cut to the Muppet, mind you, this is a Zoom podcast.
Yes, it's a Zoom podcast.
So they
girl.
like, so it'd cut to this fucking whatever, and then multiple times like the guys would like say something, and be like, "Oh, my wife, I'll have to ask my wife about that one," and I'd be like, "Okay."
Well, that's the biggest tea, because
I'm like, "Who married you?"
well, so one of them, the one with the glasses, the one who
Yeah.
did most of the talking and who like led the conversation, he kept talking about his wife being a hairstylist, and so anytime a gay comment or a gay thing,
Right, when you talked about Don Humberto and like the barbershop or whatever, they're like, "Oh my god, they're playing sports on the TV. That's crazy."
that's crazy. Like, I don't want to. What's this idea of like something being straight in a barbershop?
And to that, I just say, Mama, you are a victim of the patriarchy to the point where you cannot see it.
You
You
don't
don't
see it.
recognize it. It's because you are what? Enmeshed in
Yeah,
it.
but the funny thing is, like, the more he talked about, like, oh yeah, like try, the more I realized he a fag. Like he.
Oh, is he a fag?
No, because like he would talk about like, oh, power bot, and he was like explaining all these things, and then one of his co-hosts even clocked him, be like, how do you know all these things? So in all the comments, the whole tea is like everyone's calling him gay, and in this episode, it was just like, oh, like don't bring your wife hairstylist to the equation, Diva, because I know you'll be watching us on the daily.
Oh, he was
like,
jerking it. He's one. He's probably the one. He's
jerking it.
probably the one that's commenting. Hey, can you pull that sock halfway off your foot, please?
And to you, whoever commented that, if you want to join us on the Patreon,
Yeah,
we might do
we'll do a foot video.
we'll do a foot video. We'll do anything.
We'll do it behind the behind the paywall.
But it's so funny. And so just a couple things that I wanted to just clarify, if I may, and I'll just do a couple of these.
God, there are a lot of notes.
Just because I really enjoyed how at the end of the day they really were enjoying themselves. They were really holding back.
I mean, we
laughter.
brought a smile to their face,
brought a
and I
smile to
think
their
that's all
face.
that matters.
And I also didn't even. I don't know if you felt this, but their commentary wasn't even like. They weren't like right wingers either. They weren't like right wing MAGA
No,
or
they were
like
giving like moderate centrists.
they were just like moderate centrists who are just think we're like cringy elites. Who one of the comments in the video was we have rich parents and have nothing else to
I'm
do
sorry.
with it. I'm like,
No, it's like, oh, if you watch literally any of the videos, do you know how many times we talk about how much we are desperate to get out of our restaurant jobs? Like, please.
please. So anyway,
God,
so,
I would live for rich parents.
So one of their confusions in the topics they discussed was the term "giving fish," because Miss Nick is famously known for saying,
what did I say?
because one of your favorite things to say, like when you're feeling yourself, like like
Oh,
your
it's fishy.
NBT, is when you're like, I was giving fish.
Wait, but what was the context of what did I said in that?
I don't know what the context was, but I
Oh.
think you were just talking about like
But
giving
they didn't.
fish.
But they didn't know that.
And they were just like, giving fish? What does that mean? And it's like, is that even a compliment? They were all trying to figure out if like giving fish, because they just called us gay dudes. There was no
Right.
nuance to like,
No, of
like you being
course.
non-binary. And like, I guess I'm less of non-binary at this point. I think I'm more gay man. I was non-binary. I feel like I'm like Demi Lovato. I'm like,
the
I'm
patriarchy.
the patriarchy. No, listen, turning with the times. No, but I'm feeling much more like in my masculine, in my male presence right now. So I
Sure.
don't feel like it's fair for me to consider myself non-binary at this point. But of course, you're a man, be sister, and so they were literally just gagged at the idea that like they're like, what is fish? Like, is fish good? Can we get? Is giving fish good?
Well, to answer yes.
The answer is yes, because I know you're watching.
Yeah, educating the children.
Educating the children. Just so you know, who are these podcast people? Giving fish is good. If you want to compliment one of your girly pops at the sports bar at Buffalo Wild
If
Wings.
she's looking really feminine that day, say, "Mama, you're giving fish."
Mama, you're and you know what?
Freshly caught tilapia.
Yes, gee, I've gotten realness.
Not a soaking
No, it's like a
clock.
clock. And you know what? And we love that, because if you look feminine in one day, we love women here and we love femininity. So giving fish is always going to be a compliment.
And even if you're looking busted as fuck, sometimes I'd be looking like Fran Lebowitz, and I'd still be giving fish. Because guess what, Mama, that's a real fish.
Yes.
Miss Fran,
Miss Fran.
she got real.
One other thing I wanted to discuss.
The realness.
That drops Laganja Stranja. Death drop.
A friend of mine.
A friend of yours. Another thing that they clocked. So in one of our earlier episodes, I talked about no. I think it was the one when I went to get DP'd because I think I had called out of work and I was making fun of the fact that I was just calling out of work, just to call out and get dick down. And so they, again, boomers, could not, or elder millennials, they could not understand the concept of they were just like, their whole roast was them being like, look at this person calling out of work, for something other than being sick. They were like, how could he? Why? And then they're all like, yeah, like, everyone in his restaurant job probably hates him. They'll probably think he's the worst. He's the annoying person who's always calling out of work. And I'm just like, diva. And then they went into the whole topic of just like, there's no, these kids just are calling out of work for, listen, mental health is a real thing, okay?
But also, like, I don't get paid enough.
It's like, I don't give a shit. Like, they fucking they'll
like,
survive.
Like, yeah. Like, you have other workers. Also, like, you'll survive if you don't have me. Like, relax. Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath. It's okay. If you ever felt like calling out of your freaking Dog and Pony freaking podcast, then please listen. Feel free to go.
It's my government given right to have 6 hours, and I will use them. And guess what? It's also by law, you're not required to grill me about why I'm calling out. You just have to accept it. Thank you.
Then they were talking about they made a joke about the whole thing being in the closet. Like they didn't really understand that it doesn't, because they were making fun of us because we were talking about like I think our coming out stories. And so they were just like they were like making fun of the fact that we had said that we hadn't come out, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they were mocking us because they're like, you can tell, like, have you seen this, boys? Everyone knows they're gay. And I'm like, well, there's a difference between people knowing you're gay and then you coming out as gay. So just again, educating you, when you come out of the closet doesn't mean that your entire family doesn't already know. That could be a given.
Girl, totally.
When you're coming out of the closet, it's because you're coming out. It's like your debut. It's like the Gilded Age. You're being debuted, into society.
You're having the debutante ball.
You get the debutante ball, and then lastly, it was this whole thing. Listen, I wrote so many notes. Maybe I'll like post my notes on the Patreon. That could be a fun thing for us to continue assessing. But anyway, the funniest thing that they called us towards the end of the podcast, they described us as two catty whores.
I love that.
Listen. Kudos, mama. Thank you for spilling. Two catty whores.
Catty pussy.
Horse. Honora bag. Honey. Two catty whores. We have to put it on as one of like our quotations on our reviews. Two catty whores.
Well, listen. Much love to those men.
Much love to
I'm
you
glad
all.
I'm glad that you got to experience a taste of queer culture, because clearly you've been so deprived of it.
Yes.
And I think the world is a much better place. Oh, we can move on.
I know.
With this vocabulary that you're all learning, and I hope and pray that you continue to listen and to learn. And when we eventually, win all the awards for best podcast and stuff, we'll have to thank them in our speeches.
Of course.
Because clearly they believed in us from the very beginning to report on us.
And, I even thought about, like, clipping this for socials and, like, tagging them, because, like, we're not afraid of them. But they don't even have an Instagram account. That's how, like, boomer they are. They don't have an Insta account. They only have a website and their YouTube channel.
Honestly,
so
good for them.
Good for them. Anyway.
So let's talk about dick.
So let's talk about dick. Actually, might be, for once, a dick-heavy episode today.
I had dick for the first time. Oh, God. I had dick for the first time in forever on Tuesday.
Oh, my God.
I was...
You have something on your eye, too, by the way.
Wait.
No, the other one. I think it's like a boogerina. There you go.
Oh, is it gone?
Yeah, but it's just... Okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you, sister.
Of course, sister. Also, you have something on your hair. What the fuck?
What?
Some dangly thing, probably from like...
Fuzz.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Tuesday I had a doctor's appointment.
We look out for each other.
Yeah, we do, sisters. Okay, ow, don't touch me.
Touch you.
So I had a doctor's appointment on Tuesday at like 1:20, and so I had and that took an hour. So I was done by like 2. Not even an hour. I was done by like 2:00, and I had to go and I had work at 4. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna stay in the area because I have nothing. I was like, I'm not gonna have enough time to like do anything else. Sorry, I had to burp.
Nice.
Had to burp.
Damn, bro. Fuck, bro. That's crazy.
I hate that.
See, you know who would like that? The people who hated us.
That makes me so uncomfortable. I don't like that. I don't like your boy drag. Take it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Oh, just wait.
Oh, ew. And so this man that I talked to like on Sunday had like hit me up on Grindr, and he wanted me to come over, and I like went for a run after work, And when I got back to work, I was like sweaty and gross. And he's like, do you want to stop by? And at that point, I had already gotten on the train, and I was like, I lied and said, because he's hot. Like, he sent me his photos, and I was like, oh, this man is sexy. Like, I definitely want to like hook up with him, but not tonight. But I was like, oh, I have plans with friends for dinner. I was like, maybe afterwards. And he was like, yeah, let me know. I get home, I pop a gummy, I take a shower, I'm on the couch watching a movie. He messages me at like 10 o'clock, you done with dinner yet? And I was like, oh, sorry, can we reschedule? And he was like, yeah, no worries, no problem. He's like, somebody else came over anyway, totally fine. And I said, cool, thanks.
So what's the vibe? How old is he? What's his tea?
He's giving like 50s. His age wasn't on his profile, but he's giving
Young for you.
yeah, it's giving like silver fox.
Love. I want to see pictures.
Body.
Please.
Well, so he sent me expiring photos.
Okay, so he is old.
Yeah. So, but I'll show you he has a body pic on his profile. His body is like really tight. He's like hairy in like the perfect way. He's like very like he's like pretty muscular. And so then he lives in the East Village, and so he was messaged me when I was on my way to my doctor's appointment, and I told him, I said I could be free at like 2, and he's like, well, if you could get here by 2:30, that would give us enough time to like hang out before you have to go to work. And I said totally. So I got out of my doctor's appointment right at 2, got my like prescriptions and stuff, and so then I was like, I'll on my way, and he gives me his apartment number. I get there, he welcomes me in. I go, okay, cool. His apartment, he's not as in his messaging, and I forget that old men are in this way. They're very direct. So sometimes when like I have a conversation with a guy who's a lot older, it's hard for me to tell what their personality is like because they don't reveal it in the way that they message. Sometimes,
Yeah, because even sometimes the messages can be much more vibrant than when you actually meet them in person.
And he was very just like short, sweet, direct. Like it was very
Love.
just like show up, like okay. Like nothing added to it.
Pump a number.
That's what it was giving. But when I showed up, he was so sweet, so nice, and
tea.
and welcomes me into his apartment. His apartment was very cute. Find out that he's a journalist, and so he's like, "What?
I think a fly flew into your bubbles.
Did that?
Oh no, I think one escaped as I was
Pouring it in.
pouring it in. So saved by the pour.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
continue. Sorry.
So he's a journalist, whatever. We start making out. He's a really good kisser.
Okay.
He's like obsessed with my hair. He's like really into it. He's like he's turned on by like being masculine. Like he really likes to be like dominant and mask or whatever. And turns out he really likes his partners to be like submissive and femmy. And I was
Perfect,
like, okay,
perfect
work. So we're like making out and stuff, and he's like telling me what he's into, and he's like, I like long sessions, all this stuff. And I said, yes, great. We're like hooking up. It's nice. I was like, oh damn. So he's on the older, he's like in his 50s, and typically when I hook up with guys that are in that age range, sometimes they have a hard time staying hard.
Yes.
Like they have a hard time keeping it. This man, like he was like soft when I got there, but he was rock hard as soon as I got naked. And like he's like, you have me.
Maybe he popped the Viagra.
I don't know if he did, but like, cause I think
Which is great. I mean.
No. Because then I went. Okay, well, I'll get into it. But he was rock hard the whole time, and I was like, damn. And his dick, nice. Okay. And I was like, oh, I want that. And then eventually he was like, do you want to fuck? And I was like, I would love to, but I don't have enough time because I kept checking the time because at that point I was like, I have to leave latest 3:30.
Did you douche?
No.
Damn.
No, I did douche that morning. I did douche because I was like, I do want to have a gig after my doctor's appointment. So I was like, you know what? So I did douche. But then I was like, I don't have enough time. And so then we looked at the time, and it was like maybe 3 o'clock. We had like 30 more minutes. And he was like, okay, like, because we were like taking breaks to talk and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked me out. He was like, do you want to get a drink sometime? And I was like, yeah, I would. And he was like, yeah, okay, like let's get a cocktail or something. And then he was like, maybe like one of these like weekends or whatever, you could like come over, spend the night. We just like fuck all weekend. And I was like, yeah, daddy, let's do it. And then at the end when I was leaving, I was like, by the way, I'm Nick.
I love that.
And then he was like, oh right. And then he like shakes my hand and like tells me his name.
That.
But he was like telling me how obviously like, he finds me attractive and stuff, and like was how much he like loves my hair and everything. And he's like, if I saw you at a bar, like, oh my God, like I'd be like drooling all over. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. I said, oh, because I feel like ever since I've grown out my hair, I've had the opposite experience, like going out. And he was like, really? I said, yeah, when I used to have a buzz cut, like I would get more people checking me out and stuff. And like now they kind of like stay away. And he's like, well, I don't know if this is like on my profile, but like I'm bi. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, got it. He's like, so like I'm really into like, I'm like really into what you're giving. And I was like, okay, cool, thank you. And then I leave. And then when I'm leaving, he was like, so what do you have going on the rest of today? And I was like, oh, I have work. And he goes, oh, he's like, so what time are you done? And I was like,
oh my God, stop.
And I was like, well, I might get out at like 10, probably like 10:30, like latest 11. And he was like, okay. He's like, well, if maybe like hit me up when you're done, because like maybe I'll still be up. And I said, oh, do you usually stay up late? And he was like, well, no, but like I might be up. And I said, okay, like I'll let you know. So like I'm at work. I'm eating my family meal. It's like 10 o'clock, like just turned 10, a little after 10. I messaged him and he was like, "Oh, you still?" He's like, "Are you
DoorDash finished.
DoorDash over?"
Over.
And so I'm like eating or whatever, and he's like asked me and if I'm like how my night was going or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just finishing up some work." He's like, whatever. He's like, "I'm having some dinner now," and I said, "Oh, me too." And then he doesn't message me, and so then I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So I start walking. I get my stuff. I like start going to the train. The train comes. I still don't have a response from him. I was like, "Okay, so I guess it's not gonna happen tonight." I get to the
We have been talking, weren't we?
Yeah, I called you because I called you after work,
Yes.
and I was like, well, I'm waiting for this
It's
guy
go-
to message me, and I don't think he's going to. And then I was like, well, he didn't. So then I get on the train, I get to the next stop at West 4th, and then all of a sudden he messages me and he goes, "Are you still there?" And I was like, and then all of a sudden the doors close, and then I'm like, wait, fuck. So then I get off at Spring Street, and I was like, should I reroute? Like, I'm on the train right now. And he was like, sure. I was like, ugh. So I like get off at Spring Street, take the uptown train back up to 14th, take the L
The
over.
L.
Then I get to his place, welcomes me in. We just like get ready. As soon as I get there, he was like, "Oh, do you want to rinse off quick?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I can." And he gives me a toothbrush, toothpaste, like my own to
Oh,
have.
damn. He wanted you to be clean.
I said, "Oh," he's like, "Do you want to brush your teeth?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I could do that."
Another quality I feel like from like an older / more confident
Sure,
and
yeah.
pleasant top or host is when they like offer you if they want to, if just the offer of like, do you want to rinse off? Do you need anything? Time?
Yeah.
Like I like that consideration sometimes.
No, and that usually happens all the times when I hook up with older
Now
dudes.
I would, like we've already discussed this previously, I would never shower at the gig, but you and I differ there.
Right. But then I was like, sure. So I rinsed off, and like when I came back into his room, he was like still fully dressed, and I like was just in my towel, and then I like just like took it off, and I was like, hey.
Where did you wrap your towel?
I would wrap it around my waist, so like it was just.
Oh, I pictured you with like your towel like above your
Oh,
titties.
no, no,
like,
no, no.
hey, hey, sir.
No, but my ass, it was like wrapped around my ass, and then he
Lady
like
boop.
he like saw me, and he was like, and then like he got up and then started making out with me. He got him undressed or whatever, and then we were just like rolling on his bed. We're like making out. So he's like, he's really into, what was he really into? He was really into fingering me. He was really into fingering my
Okay.
ass, which I liked. Like he was going to town at that, and then he kept like whispering like, "I want to be inside you so bad," and I'd be like, "Yes, I want you inside me. Like, get inside me right now." And then eventually got to the point where I was like, "Okay, so we're saying that." I'm like, "So are we gonna start fucking?" Because like at this point, I got to his place at like 11:15. Left his apartment at 2:30.
Meanwhile, the 50-year-old is like, okay, and then you're like, no, I need my sleep.
Well, no, because what
I need
happened?
to-
So what happened was, so then all of a sudden he's like, he's like, "Oh, do you want to have sex?" And I said yes, and he said, "Okay, there's a condom over there if you want to grab it." And he like got the lube, and so I got the condom. I put it on his dick. It was
okay, condom.
His dog. Well, he's like, "If you want it," and I was like, "Yeah, I do want it."
You want a condom?
To start,
What?
I'm listen.
When have you ever said that in the freaking 60+ episodes we've ever done here? You've
When
never
I
said that.
actually, I have only been doing it with condoms since like the summer.
You have been doing it with condoms?
Yes.
Are you requesting? I mean, again, I'm not trying to be stupid, but I'm saying like,
Well, you are.
No, are you like requesting for condoms though?
No, but when I was hooking up with Deal Trade, we did condoms, and then I was
A
like,
lot of bi people do condoms too because of like whatever judge, you know.
well, and also he
preconceived
told me
notions.
he told me he had hooked up with somebody like 2 days prior. So I was like, well, I don't know what you got going on.
Oh,
So
girl,
I was-
I could fuck somebody 2 hours from today, and they'd be like, okay, right.
Yeah, well, I'm being a little more conscious about my health.
I love that. I love
But
that,
but
sister.
for repeats, you know, we'll go raw.
Okay.
I do want more. I do want him to fuck raw. But he was rock hard, and then I like slowly sit on his dick.
Rock.
I slowly sit on his dick. I'm riding him, and we're like whatever. And he's like, eyes are closed, and he's like really focusing hard. And I was like, oh, is he like? And that only ever happens to me when I'm like hooking up with an old dude who like can't stay hard.
Mhm.
And so then I'm like writing it, but it feels hard inside of me. So like I'm like doing my thing, or whatever. And then all of a sudden in the middle of it, he goes, oh, weird. I just like can't get that. I'm just like not getting any harder. And
You're
I-
like,
And I was like, oh, and he's like, it's nothing against you. He's like, he's like, your trust. He's like, you're putting in the work and it's good. And I said, okay. And so then he's like, so like maybe we should just like chill. And I said, okay. He pulls out. He's like still rock hard. So I was like, I mean, like maybe it wasn't as hard as he wanted it to be, or maybe he was like having, I don't know what was going on, but
he
then
was in his head.
I think he was in his head, and I think he was also tired. I think that's what it was.
Hmm.
And so then, because again, old. And so then he pulls out, and when he pulls out, I was like, because it was in there. It wasn't like it was like we were struggling to get in. It was just gonna fall out. Like it was in there.
Mhm.
And so then whatever. And then we like start making out and stuff. And then I'm like jerking him off. And then eventually he jerks me off to no. we're like grinding on each other, and we're all like sweaty and lubed up now, and so like I'm like still kind of on him, and so then we're like just like making out and whatever, and I'm grinding, and like I guess like my dick was like in his little like leg and like thigh sort of like gap between like his balls and his thigh, you know, like that crevice. Like in between your thigh.
Yeah.
So I was like rubbing it in there, and then all of a sudden I was like, I think I'm
His
gonna.
gooch, no?
No, the gooch is under the
Oh,
balls.
so the side is the side.
No, like literally like in the
On
thigh.
the side. Well, yes,
The inner thigh.
sides.
The
Yeah,
inner thigh. I was rubbing
thigh.
on the inner thigh. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, I'm gonna come. I can't. I came so hard, and then he was like, oh, I'm not gonna finish, and I said, okay, yeah, whatever. And then we like were just laying there, and then got up. He got me like a wet washcloth. I like wiped down or whatever, and then I like looked over at my phone because I was gonna see like what time it was. At this point, it was like 1 a.m. And so I was like, okay, I looked at the price for an Uber. Cheap. I was like, okay, bitch. I was like, can we get Uber? As I'm looking at the Uber prices, he comes up behind me and starts like kissing my neck and stuff. And he looks over my shoulder and he goes, well, don't leave just now. He's like, don't leave so soon. And I was like, oh, he's like, come lay down with me for a little bit. And I was like, okay, like a little bit. And then I like go and lay in bed and he was like,
do love a male touch.
I do love a cuddle. And so then he was like, you can spend the night if you want. And I had an excuse. I had to come up here to record the bonus episode for the Patreon. I was like, I have to be in Hamilton Heights in the morning. So I was like, I probably shouldn't spend the night. And he was like, yeah, no, totally. And so then we lay in his bed. We're just laying in his bed. He like then pulls like the comforter over us. And he's just like, yeah, just to get a little bit more cozy. Fall fucking asleep.
Girl.
And I was like, and I wake up, it's like 2, it's like half asleep though. So then it's like 2 a.m. And I was like, okay. I was like, I have to go. And so then I'm like slowly kind of like pulling myself out of bed because like if I don't get out of bed now, I'm just going to stay the night and fall asleep. And then it's going to ruin my whole day the next day. Because then I'm going to have to go all the way to Brooklyn to get my shit, change, shower. I'm going to be whatever. So then I get up.
He's single and like, I guess.
Yeah,
okay.
He's single. He's like, he I guess has mostly lived his life straight, but now is like bi, but like whatever. And so then he was like asking me, I can't remember, he was like asking me when I was free next or whatever, and then he's like, so what are you doing tomorrow in Hamilton Heights? Told him about the podcast. He's like, wait, that's so cool, I'll have to ask you more about the next time you come over. And I was like, no, totally. And then he like keeps, as I'm getting dressed, like kissing my neck and whatever, and like rubbing his dick is hard again, and he's like rubbing it up against my back, and he's like, you sure you have to go? And I was like, stop, if you don't stop, I'm gonna have to gargle it down again. And I'm like, I can't, I gotta go. And so he was like, okay. And so then
so disciplined. I would have been like, blah, blah, blah.
Well, at that point I was also just like tired. I was like, I don't have it in me. And so then I got dressed or whatever, ordered the Uber, it picks me up, whatever, call it a night. Great. And then he's been messaging me, and like he wanted to hang out yesterday, and like I was just like home, and I was like, it was windy and cold and I didn't want to go all the way back. And I also sometimes, maybe it's just because like I like men who are unavailable, but because he's like made himself so available to me.
Oh, you don't want him.
Yeah. Like it's bad because he's so sweet, and I do think he's sexy and stuff, but like he like wants to take me out and like go out on a date and stuff. And like unfortunately, like I don't see that for us. Like it's like a fun little thing, and like he is really into like long sessions, and like once I got my nut, I don't need to be touched by a man now for like a couple of weeks. Like I genuinely, like I'm at a stage where it's like that I was just horny, needed to get that out and like whatever, but I want romance, but like not from him.
Not like that. Like not in this setting. You want romance from like meeting someone, going on a date. You don't want,
and someone age appropriate. Ultimately, at the end of the day.
Whoa.
But and not to be not to be shady. Like he's so sweet, and like I do want to hang out with him. I'm supposed to technically hang out with him tonight, but I lied and said like, oh, a work thing came up, so like I don't know if I'm gonna be free. Like I'll let you know maybe tomorrow.
Wow, you really are rejecting this man.
I know, and I feel bad because he is very sweet and like very nice, but ultimately I was like.
Is it subconsciously because like you're not that attracted, or?
I think it's not that I'm not attracted. It's just that like. I don't know. Maybe I will fuck him tonight. I don't know. Maybe I'll go after this.
Do it. Why not? At least give it that second try to be like, okay, maybe it's not just in my head. Maybe I really just don't see like.
I just don't want to sleep over.
Don't.
I know.
That's kind of. I mean, because like I
Does
felt the same way.
Does it make me a bitch though?
No, like I felt the same. And I've told you, like even like with the well, I guess I'm notorious for just being, I guess, an asshole. But even with that, like Southern guy who I've shown you pics of, like who like lives nearby and whatever. At one point, I was like, oh, this person is like wanting to make themselves available for me and like want to hang out and do stuff. And sometimes I'm just like, wait, like. It sounds weird in a way, but sometimes I feel like if the chemistry for hookup is strong and like the banter and everything's great, then I don't want to risk losing that by breaking the fourth wall and like bringing you into my life and like seeing friends
Sure.
or being out and whatever. Now, when it comes to selling tickets for a show, honey, any grinder freaking hookup gets a
Oh,
link,
yeah.
gets the date,
You're
gets the
getting an
discount.
email.
The discount code is my freaking headline on the grinder name. Like it's hey Peru
Yeah.
show happening. But as far as like ingraining someone within like my peeps or like just outsiding, I even tried it with him too, but then like I canceled out last minute because I was just like, oh. So I feel you.
Well, because then in comparison, because I'd already told this to Peru, but on Thursday evening, I got hit on for the first time by somebody at a bar. Like I've never gotten hit on in a bar before.
And in Bushwick too, like what a New York moment, like fucking outside of this like
Like,
known.
so
Well, I
yeah,
guess we can say
we can
where,
say
no?
so.
Bossa Nova.
So on Thursday was my friend's birthday, and he had a party, and so
Sorry, I keep fixing my hair. I just don't feel like I have a good hair day today, but whatever.
no, your hair looks good.
Thank you, sis.
Yes, you fit. You
You
fished and you
learned it,
caught. You
you
fished and you you caught it.
Thank you.
So it was my friend's birthday, and so he had this party at this bar that was close to where we both live. Literally, we live 3 blocks from each other. The bar is 2 stops off the train from us. So we are at the bar, and then all of a sudden it closes. The bar, like the party room that we were in, so it closes at midnight. And so then they're like, "Guys, what's the next location?" And literally over half of us there were like, "Next location, let's just go downstairs and stay at the bar that we're at."
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the host of the party is like drunk, and he's like, "I want to dance," and so he's like, "Let's go to Bossa Nova." Never been there before in my life. And so then everyone was like, Bossa Nova. So then a bunch of us are trying to convince him to stay. And then he's like, yeah, we'll stay for like a little bit. And so then we go downstairs. We try to set up shop at like one of the tables. And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, so we just got an Uber. We're going to go to Bossa Nova. See you guys there. And I'm like, oh, for a little, you meant 5 minutes. Like you did not mean, like you just meant to get our coats. Like you did not mean to stay. And so then thankfully
You went.
Thankfully, I went. And then we get there, and there's a $10 to cover to get in on a Thursday fucking night. You walk in, there's no one there. And I was like, I'm sorry, why did we have to pay a cover? There's nobody here. I was like, you should be paying us to
come in.
enter. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? And then it's like this.
I mean, it does get busy there though.
I guess when we were leaving, I guess it gets busy late because
Yes,
when
a
I
late night spot.
because when I left,
You go there and like do Molly and like like dance.
yeah, I won't be doing Molly there on Forge. But when we got there, it wasn't that busy. And then the bartender literally went down the line out of everybody that I was with, all pretty women, gorgeous women that are like dressed to impress. He's going down the line, takes all their orders. He looks directly at me and then turns to the girl next to me and takes her order instead.
God.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then my friend next to me, she was like, wait, your drink. And I was like, I know. She had to flag him down because he was not paying attention to me. He was not looking at me.
What the bartender didn't know is that in a few minutes you were about to be the belle of the bar.
100%. So then I get my drink, whatever. I do one drink there, and then we take breaks, go outside, smoke in the smoke section, and then come back inside. And then me and one of my friends from work are like, okay, we're tired, like we're gonna go home. She's like, do you want to leave? And I was like, yeah, let's leave. So then we both decide we're gonna order Ubers. We grab our stuff, say goodbye to the birthday boy, and then we go outside. Both of our Ubers have been ordered. All of a sudden, this man comes up to the two of us. We're like in the middle of a conversation, and he just goes, hi, and we're like, oh, hi. And he was like, by chance, do either of you have a cigarette? Neither of us do. Neither of us smoke cigarettes. And then we were like, sorry. And he was like, oh, no, like, no worries. And he starts walking away. And then he like turns and looks back and he was like, looks directly at me and goes, I was really hoping you'd have one though. And then, and I didn't clock it at first because I was like a little bit high.
Bro.
I was a little high. And then Alyssa was like, she goes, oh my God.
Everyone's shocked.
No, she was like, and then I was like, and I was like, oh, I think he's flirting with me. And then I was like, oh, what do I say? And I was like, I have a joint if you want to hit that. And he was like, oh, and he like comes back and he's like being all like smooth or whatever. And he was like, yeah, but then I go all nonverbal. And he's like, I don't know if I'd want that. And then I was like, oh yeah, we don't want you to like go nonverbal.
You never showed him to me.
Oh, I'll show you his Instagram. I'm recording. But then he was like talking. We were talking for like a couple of seconds because at that point my Uber shows up and he was like, "So can I get your Instagram?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, totally." So I give him my Instagram. He like looks up his on my phone or whatever. I follow him, and then my Uber's there. So I like wish Alyssa goodnight and I like say goodnight to him and I said, good luck finding that cigarette you're looking for. And he was like, right, yeah, because that's the only thing I was looking for. And I was like, stop. love. Whole car ride, I'm like looking at his Instagram. I'm like, this is the future
course.
father of my children. I was like, we're gonna have so many beautiful babies. Life is gonna be so fabulous. And then I get home. I feel like the hottest bitch alive because earlier that night at the first location, the bartender was kind of flirting with me. Realized that he was only really flirting with me because he wanted a good tip, and I was like, whatever. But I was like,
I mean, that's the bartender's job, girl.
I know,
They
but
flirt with everyone.
he was laying it on thick. I've never had a bartender lay it on like that with me before.
Honey, economy is rough right now. He
No,
has to
I
lay
know,
it on.
I know. We're about to hit a recession, so like, I respect. But so then anyway, but I felt like the hottest bitch alive. So because I also looked good. Everyone, all the girls were like, "You look so good tonight," and I was like, "Stop."
I didn't see you, but
I have photos. And so then I get home whenever I like go to sleep. The next morning I wake up, he had DM'd me and like said, "Where can I find you?"
at 6 a.m.
He DM'd me at 6 a.m. And so then I responded playfully like, currently, well, I'm in bed right now, and that bed's in Bed-Stuy. He immediately reads the message and then has not responded. And that's that.
Listen, whatever happens after doesn't matter because you still had that one moment.
No, and
You know,
again,
the moment is
and
what counts.
immediately
really.
after he walked away from us before I got in the Uber, Alyssa was like, "Are we in a movie?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Girl, it feels like it." And she was like, "That was crazy."
Which is something coming from her because she's like a pretty girl that always gets picked up.
Well,
know,
that's
like,
the thing. Of when he came up to us, I thought initially he was like trying to flirt with her,
Alyssa,
because
yeah.
that's why when he like said that, when she went, "Oh," and she like looked at me, I was like, "Oh, did he? That was for me?" I was like, "Oh," I was literally Sabrina Breyer. Oh.
Oh my God, girl! Well, congratulations! I'm happy you're on the up and up, loads
Yes.
and romance.
Thank you. But to finish that thought or whatever, the difference between like that felt like really exciting and also like, oh wait, he's kind of cute, like I would like whatever.
Yeah.
Versus like this other gentleman, it's like, yeah, like I think what I'm also learning now is that maybe I need to not have sex if I'm like interested in someone. Maybe I don't have sex with them right away.
That's a good realization. I mean, I've already discussed this. Like, I need to have sex within the first 2 dates. Like, it's to me, sex takes up a big chunk of like what I'm looking for in a partner.
Sure,
so.
sex is important, but like I think now, like I just want romance, and so I think sex. Once you add sex into it, then it gets a little bit more. Adding sex and romance does make it feel a little bit more serious to me personally, because then it's like, okay, well, if you're being romantic towards me and we're fucking, and you want to take me out on dates, like at that
It's checking more of the boxes for you.
yeah, and it's like, and that's happening a little too fast, a little too soon. Versus like, I like the sort of slow burn sort of situation. Versus like, if I'm just gonna have sex, like I just want to keep it casual. We're just fucking and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, still give this 50-year-old man a chance to just at least get your nut with him fucking you. You know.
No, totally.
Make that happen, and then be like,
and it's
okay,
good,
if he's
and
still into
and
it.
he's sexy, and he really lays it down. So I'm like, okay,
Great, you're doing it.
yeah.
Well, speaking of things that we've been doing, I have a gig report. New title, new segment, gig report. Town hall, we talk about our lives, and then gig report is just fuck. I've been active as per usual. However, I've been acting in a very different way than I normally would
Are you
consider it.
topping?
So let me tell you what occurred. Let me tell you. I
want better for you.
I want to preface this by saying that like I'm still forever and always Alyssa Edwards, a bottom. You know, like, and the reason why I changed my thing to
Who
first,
are you topping?
girl, I'm gonna tell you the story.
Wait!
So, if you remember, townspeople, a few episodes ago, I already told you about the one time that I topped. I was this year when I was in the threesome, and then I wanted to get things done, so I was like, "Ah." I haven't really been sharing much with my sister Nick on my other sexual exchanges because, like, besides just random gigs, nothing has been particularly like exciting. Besides the Dominican poppy, who like his sister lives in the building, that's been nice. The other ones have just been like regular gigs, nothing out of the ordinary. So you know, like, why report on it? It's just regular sex. But this past week, there was a return guest that I hadn't told you about even the first happening because I don't know what's been happening over me lately because I find myself teetering between having really busy days that I've been really valuing working on my own personal endeavors and professionally speaking, like that by the time nighttime comes and I'm still horny, I feel like I was kind of lazy as far as like, well, I've already like really done so much work today. Now I don't want to have to go into doing sex work by like douchey and like doing all the, you know what I mean?
It does. It has been feeling more so like work for me personally.
You know what I mean?
Recently.
So I've just like, I'm like laying in bed horny, and I'm like touching myself, and I'm just kind of like stroking, and I'm just like, I'm like, if there was only something else that I could do that wouldn't involve me having to choose, but still fulfill my sexual need. So I kind of been experimenting with hitting bottoms up.
Like full bottoms.
Just
Which ones? I want to see.
So
what bottoms are you fucking?
okay, so let's go. Let's talk about.
I don't know who you are anymore.
No, I've topped 3 times this week.
This week? My sister. Who are you?
One was
That tarot card reading said you are in a new era.
Oh, honey, I took the
100%.
tarot reading seriously. I was just like, oh no. By the time the tarot reading was happening, I was already 2 fucking toppings in.
You got a third one in after?
Yesterday. So yesterday, you know the guy from the threesome, not the Dominican one, but the Spanish one,
The
from
verse
Spain,
one?
the verse one that like, I was like, he kept hitting me up, and I was like, you know what? Come on, bro, get your ass over here. So
Is that what you said?
I was like, get your ass over here. But here's the thing. So
Do you put on the voice?
not the voice. No,
Oh,
no, 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 no,
okay.
no, 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 no. That's just for fun for us between us.
Do you wear backwards cap?
For me, forward. But no.
During the top while you're topping?
Oh, stop. So here's the thing. Again,
I hate it.
First and foremost, besides the fact that I am just always, like 99% of bottom, and I love bottoming, and like that's my gig. Like I love to bottom. Topping really has become one of those things where I'm just like, out of I think pure laziness, I just feel like, and I'm horny, like I just want to get it done, and also like, I really have been trying to like work on stamina, not stamina as far. I want to make sure like I can. I feel like I'm always really good at like coming whenever I want to, but I also kind of want to. I don't know, like I always like think, it's more like a character work right now that I'm doing. I'm the Meryl Streep of bottoms, because I really am trying to just like dig in deeper and see,
the
like
real Sophie's choice, to bottom or to top.
the real Sophie's choice is, do I want to top? And I was just thinking like, okay, like who am I like as a top if I'm topping? Like what does that mean to me? Like, and so what I'm starting to realize is that as a top,
I'm scared.
the way I've developed this character, Lisa has like different alter egos. Like my top alter ego is, I just want to fuck you, load you up, and get you out of here.
My sister's a man. My sister is just a gross, nasty, evil, disgusting man.
Just wait, because one of them is gonna gag you.
I'm already gagged.
The one from
what do you mean?
The one from yesterday was just like, he came over. Since I already knew who he was, he came over. Like we did it. He had to go to work, and I was pretending I had to work too. And I was like, whatever, it's fun, whatever. We didn't do much. We like messed around, whatever. Earlier this week, there's this guy who, let me tell you, so far my dissertation on the reasonings for the like lack of like, I guess like ideal men for me is that like both out of the 3 men that I've topped have been like physically like what I would want like a top to be for me. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like, so this one guy who I've already topped before, he came over early this week again.
Is a Spanish man?
Mind you, no, this is the Spanish man was yesterday. This is another man.
You've topped him before? You've topped this other man before?
I done it before. I never told you about it because it was just it was just more like a personal thing. Like I wanted to try it.
When
and
was
so
that?
This was through Sniffies. It was about like a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks at most. And I had hit him up because I was just like, okay, like let me just see who I am as a top. So then I just started seeing some like, and like lately,
He's a full bottom.
He's a well, first bottom, but like girl, I met her and he's a bottom. and let me tell you, like I have never been an ass person up until this year. I don't know what changed in my like my what's it called?
Brain
My
chemistry.
chemistry, my brain chemistry changed so much recently. I don't know why. Maybe it's all the clean foods I've been eating. But let me tell you, I've been looking at asses in a different way. I'm like starting to turn into an ass person. Like I'm starting to check out asses. Today I was at my workout, which was really intense. But even within the intensity, I clocked this one guy from the very beginning who had a nice plump ass, and I was like, I just couldn't stop looking at him. I was like, his ass is so nice. Like, and also because aspirationally, LOL, referencing a previous title of episode, like I don't have a nice ass. Like I have an okay, it's like a whatever, but like it's not like nice and round. I really want to work on it because I'm seeing all these bottoms with tight asses, and I'm like, I want one of those. Such is one ass of the guy that came over that night, that ill-fated night in which I wanted to try topping by myself, without like a friend, without my mom.
Yeah, holding your hand
Holding
through
my
it.
hand, please. Okay, so put it in here.
Clover is like hiding his face.
Oh, Clover, honey, even Clover knew. He was like not coming up to me.
You know he's hiding. He's like, I can't. I don't know what became of my father.
So, guy comes over and we have been talking, and of course, this guy was just like, the guy hits me up, and I was like, okay. He's like, hey, and so like, I'm like, okay. One of my bigger insecurities with topping to going into it now, not anymore, I guess, because I'm starting to realize it doesn't fucking matter. But like I don't have like a big dick. So it's always like I always felt like even if I wanted to experiment with topping, like I really wouldn't give that much to the bottom if they were like a size queen like I am. You know what I mean? But I'm starting to find out that oh no, that's not an impediment for a lot of these bottoms. Like they don't care.
No, they just want to get it up the butt.
They just want to get it up the butt. So like I prefaced it being like, hey, like I said not like this. So I was just like, hey, like I typically I'm typically a bottom, but today I feel like fucking a hole. So
I hate that.
so this guy was like, yeah.
Did he send you whole
He
pics?
sent me whole pics, and like, he had a nice ass.
Did
and I was
that,
like, okay.
What does that do anything for you to see the hole?
Some ass pictures are pretty because like composition's good, it's fatty, it's juicy, it looks good, pretty good lighting. I do not like it when they send me like spread hole out or just like too close up shots or like I like a sensible PG-13 ass shot. If you've got a sensible PG-13 ass picture, I'm all for it. I love it. It's cute. Sends me one, and I was like, okay, I think I'm doing this. So I'm putting in all the excuses ahead of time just so I can like psychologically prepare myself or like prepare them to like I'm saying like I'm really tired, like I really want to go to bed, but like if you want to come over for like a quick breeding whatever, then like like if you just want. And so I said so I said, you like getting ass up, like and just like doing it. So he was
I'm crying. I'm literally gonna start crying.
You're crying. He shows up and literally like I'm nervous. Like I'm just pacing in my room. I'm just like, okay, Peru, like performance of your life. And also like I already prefaced it being just like I typically bottom, I'm just really horny, don't whatever. So comes up. This man is 6'2", has a body. Like he has a body. He has like he probably, works out all the fucking time. Like his ass is clearly
Can I
worked
see an
out.
image?
Well, oh yeah. Well, the thing is, like, this is on Sniffy's. I couldn't pin him, but then I saw when he appeared on the Grinder grid that like where he came up, and I don't have his photos on Grinder, his X-rated photos, because he shared it with me on Sniffy's. When I find him on Grinder for his second session, his second breeding, then I didn't need to ask him because I already had fucked him before. But
I just want to see the profile photo.
let me find because the stars have changed now, and the stars are blind, honey.
Two insufferable gay dudes think they're stars. Oh, okay, not what I was expecting.
This photo is kind of interesting because here he looks very bottom coated, but in person he doesn't give this faggy. He gives more this. This is his vibe.
I always forget. Like whenever you show me a man, I'm like, I always have like a thought in my head, and then when you show me the image, I'm like, oh right, that's your type. Yeah. I'm always kind of filtering it like what I think is kind of hot, and then and then I see your photos, which he's attractive, but very different. Like I would not hit him up.
Course, but also here's the thing. Like this is someone who I would let fuck me. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't let him fuck me.
Let alone me fucking them. Like you have to be out of your mind. Like guess what? This man shows up with this backwards baseball blue cap. He literally like dressed for his image. He showed up like that. When he showed up, I actually took a step back and I got a little nervous because I was just like, holy fuck.
Did he say bro? Like, what's up, bro?
He was like, hey, what's up, dude? And I was like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
like,
I hate
just go to the room. And then immediately started making out. And I could tell that he was into it, which is good. It's always good. But then I got nervous because I was just like, okay, I've got like a real man here who wants me to fuck him. I was like, how am I going? It's gonna be like a chihuahua freaking climbing like a freaking pit bull. Like I don't know how the fuck it's gonna happen. So he gets on his knees and starts blowing me, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot this is how it goes. Like,
You're like,
I was like, oh yeah, because
like, so do you want to eat my ass?
of course, yeah. At one point, I was just like, oh no, yeah, I don't get down. He gets down, and I was like, yeah, you get down and suck my dick, like get down there. So he's down there, and I'm
Who
like,
are
okay.
you?
I know, like, and I'm doing the whole like pulling up my shirt thing, like the works, I'm really putting in the performance. And so then I'm like, get on the bed. He gets on the bed. Literally, I just cannot emphasize this enough. I know it sounds repetitive, but I just want you to picture like 6'2", big juicy ass, jock strap, shirtless, backwards baseball blue cap, all American white guy, like that. That's already something that's happening in my bed, and then camera pans to me like, okay, like here we go. So I'm like freaking like Mario, just like king, like jumping on the bed to make sure, because then I need to position myself to like make sure that I can even reach everything.
Did you do doggy? Was that what you did?
Yeah, the whole idea was like, come in, get your ass up, and then like like I'll pump and do it.
No
and
missionary, no kissing.
Kissing happened a lot then, but then not this first time.
Oh.
So I did it. And then I was like, okay, it didn't last that long either. But that was within my reasoning, because I told him I was, hey. So I did it.
Did you fill him up?
Filled him up. And then he was like, I was like, oh, like, this is what I do. It was like an out-of-body experience, because I was just like, I'm trying to give to him what I would like to be given. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I want to give him what I would want to be given. So like, I'm not gonna be crazy. Like, I mean, I'm
Was
still,
that satisfying for you?
it felt so good.
Oh, okay.
Because it really scratched the itch.
Because the one time that I topped, I literally like was still horny afterwards, because it didn't do what I wanted it to do.
Well, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, because I was still like, there was still a part of me that like still wanted to bottom, but it scratched the itch of me being horny, wanting to come and like have sex, right? And also the novelty of it all. I was just like, okay, like I was grabbing onto the jock strap, and I'm like, again, me doing all those things, and he's like grabbing me for like pushing me further in, and I'm just like, oh my god, like he's really into it, and I'm like, okay, great, as long as you had fun. So I was like, okay, all right, cool, we're done, and then we're talking, we're chatting, really sweet guy, really sweet dude, and then leaves. This week, I see him again, and I was like, I'm horny again. But I was like, let me do an experiment and see. I'm going to hit him up and be like, hey, and then I'll know if he doesn't respond, it means that like maybe I didn't meet his expectations, or I'm not like his type to like get, topped by. And that'll be completely fair, because anyone that I'm topping, and if I top you this year, if you're a townsperson that gets topped by me, just know, like, I know my place. I know I'm not like a dom top. So like, well, I mean, I find myself to liking to be aggressive, but because again, it's a different part of me that like I never really expressed sexually. So like, it really feels nice to like code switch that way, My dad would be proud. that's all I'm gonna say. My dad would be really proud.
I'm literally crying.
So it makes sense, right? So I was like, if he doesn't respond, then I'm not gonna take offense to it. I just know it's not typically my place. So if he's not into it. He wasn't into it, and then he like did me a favor. He had a good time with a cute little Latin guy. Cute, right? Immediately responds, and I'm like, oh hey, what's up? Like, want to get filled up again? Like I was like, I'm craving like ass, So he's like, oh yeah. Well, he was like, well, I'm actually about to meet a guy, which is why I'm like right by you, but I can come by after. And I was like, oh fuck yeah. And again, I was just
dump.
I was like, yeah, come get, like that that loaded hole here. Just got that fucking hole here.
You nasty dirty bitch.
And so then I'm just like, and then I dropped the act for like one DM exchange, being like, hey, and by the way, like, if he's got like, if he's got a big dick, like, you maybe come to me first, and I can be like your appetizer, and he can be like the big thing, whatever. And he's like, no. He's like, no. He was like, I loved your dick. Like, I want you to fuck me again. And then he's like, so actually, like, I'm right by you. Like, are you ready? And I was like, I'm not ready. Like, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I'm not gonna break that code of conduct, because I would never ask. I don't like it when tops ask me that. specifically.
You clean
You clean
the whole clean out.
the whole clean. But also, like, I don't have a big dick, so like, I'm not gonna reach your inner crevices. Like, I'm gonna be good, you know, as long as you clean yourself, like, more tidy and cute.
I'm feeling
about it.
dizzy. I'm feeling woozy.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna faint.
Dick.
I'm like, this is so much.
He comes back in, and he was so into it. And this time, I felt more confident. Because I was like, oh, like he's coming back for seconds. So, all right, you know, like get on your knees, start sucking my dick, you know? So he shows up,
Oh my god.
gets naked again, jockstrap again. He like literally gets like, and I've been eating ass too. Like, it's just like, I don't know, like what is happening? Like, and I'm like, okay, I've been enjoying the eating ass. I will say, I don't necessarily I like eating ass up until a certain extent. Once like, you know, like, well, which I'll get to that main story. Anyway, so I fucked him again. I actually like put up a little bit more of a performance. I lasted longer, and like because of our size difference, I actually have to like get on both of like it's crazy. Like I'm doing like stuff that it's like, who am I?
No, literally, who is my sister that stands before me?
Mostly because like I have to reach because he's so like he's a big build guy. So like I have to like literally get like this, you know, or like at least have a leg up to be. And I'm like, and now I understand when tops tell you like, you know, like arch your back.
Yeah.
Because I'm like I you know keep it down, keep it down, and I'm like you know trying to put it in. Which still has been kind of like an interesting situation for me to like really like, you know, find a hole, you know, whatever. Anyway.
Oh my god.
This is going to gag you though.
Oh no, I'm scared.
I've been in such a weird sexual phase. You know, when I texted you, I was like in the Upper West Side working on this project I'm submitting.
Oh yeah, and you were
I
like,
told you, and I was like, oh, we're texting. And then I told you like I had a gig.
you topped. That was the gig you topped.
So I was again at the coffee shop, horny after getting some work done, and then I was just like, oh, but like I just had this iced coffee. Like I had my little bulb that I could go and douche in this bathroom real quick because that's a private one. But I'm like, I don't have time and I'm lazy again. So I was like, I wonder what I could do. Maybe I could top. So I go on Sniffies and I find a guy who's literally across the street. And his Sniffies profile image is him ass up on his bed saying, looking for a load in between work meetings. And I DM'd saying, hey, looking for a load. I was like, hey, and then he's like, oh yeah, like pics, you know? And then I'm just like, I'm typically bottom.
Is your Sniffies profile your ass?
Yeah, it's all ass.
Oh, okay.
And then so I showed him like a dick, you know, a dick photo of mine, which I only had like a couple. And then he was like, oh, sexy, poppy. And I was like, okay. So he was, and so at that point I was just like, okay, like again, like this guy seems like pretty, you know, again, typical, same thing, like white, athletic kind of guy, you know, and I'm like, why aren't these guys tops? Why aren't these men tops? Making me top because they're freaking top bottoms. I can't even get my fucking thing straight. I'm so confused.
I'm at a loss for words.
So then he goes like, want to give me 15? And I was just like, no, I have 5. Get ready now. He's like, okay. He's like, okay, go. And then I was just like, again, it's an ass up situation. It was just like, I want you ass up on your bed, lubed up, ready to go. I'm gonna come in, pump my load, and then leave. Because I was like, I just want to. Because I also didn't have enough time, so I was like, I just want to get my nut out. And then not be distracted, you know, because they distract. Someone's like, it's distracting to me in my head. I'm just like, your mouth.
I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'm so gobsmacked. I like truly.
So I go to his apartment, go up to the 5th floor. He's like, doors open, and I'm like, where do I go? He's like, oh, you'll see. Like I'm right there, and he was ass up on the bed. Really pretty ass, if I may say so. And I'm there, and I'm like, also because like my outfit was like giving kind of faggy, you know. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I don't want him to see my outfit, you know, with my jean tote bag, be like, okay, sister,
yes,
time to get loaded up.
Yes, you want this load so bad, sis.
sis, really, sis. So like I'm like, okay, good. So I'm like taking up all my stuff, and then I also realized that for those ass up situations, like you can have layers in a cute outfit, you know? Because then I was like, it took me like 5 minutes to take all of my layers out. I was like, okay, like let me think. It was kind of chilly. Get there, like I start eating his ass, and then I top him, and he was so into it, and I was like, "What is going on?" And then when he was done, I have never like known how to wrap up like ass up situation, and I was like, I don't know how to say goodbye.
You're like, okay, have a good one.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I
Kiss.
did? I didn't know what to do. So like after like I had been eating him out and whatever, and then like I like fucked him a little bit, and then ate him out again, and then like fucked him, and so like I'm fucking him, and then I'm done, and like I'm telling you want this load. He's like, oh fuck yes, please give me that load. So I do it, and then like I was like, I don't know how to like congratulate him or like say good job.
And scene.
And see, so then the first thing that came to my mind was just like I was like as I'm pulling out, and I was just like I spanked him, and I was like, good boy, and I just like spanked him.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
I was like, good boy. He was like, thank you, and he just stayed there 10 minutes to get all my layers back on. When I left, he was like, that was so hot, let's do it again. I was like, what is going on?
I don't know who you are anymore.
Anyway, so besides that, nothing really has been going on. It's just I've been busy trying to gig it out, you know, just life. Aries season, happy Aries season. Happy Aries season, bros. My bros in America. All my tops, where my tops at? Rise up.
I hate this.
Get my tops rising up. Come on, man.
Not
Come
the
on,
patriarchy
bro.
winning. The patriarchy is winning again.
Well, I guess it's time for us to move over to the Patreon.
Do you vote Pioneer for the week?
Pioneer is gonna
Topping.
be topping. It's a tie between topping and you all. Honestly, thank you, Pioneer, for my week. It's gonna be the townspeople, the visual learners, and the audio only divas. Just anyone who's been subscribing and supporting us. You know, we're here. 1,000 you guys seem to enjoy these conversations. So thank you for being here, and we love you.
My trailblazers for the week is gonna be the Selena Gomez Benny
Oh
Blanco,
God!
Benny Blanco
You're
song
supposed to say the people too.
"Bluest Flame," which is a Charlie. It sounds like a Charlie XCX reject, but it's honestly really good. I just want to go insane. I just want to the bluest flame. So that's my trailblazer for the week.
I was looking at their a little bit of their hot ones, and like there's something about them too that it is kind of charming. 'Cause it is such like an interesting coupling, you know. But hey, you know, good for them. Pop off. Honestly, Miss Gomez, you do you, Miss Blanco. Congratulations.
Listen,
honestly.
I think if Benny Blanco had a different haircut and like did some stuff,
Okay.
then maybe he could be really hot to me. But you know,
Well,
she really kind of crashed out after JB. So
yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. You know, I love her. I don't want to get the Selenators coming for
keep
us.
an eye out for Selena.
For town council assembly today on the Patreon, we're going to be discussing. We actually have some good. Thank you for everyone. If you're a town council watching the regular episode, thank you for using the forum. We really have been getting some juicy ones, girl. You're gonna gag.
Shout out.
And if you want to be a part of that, you can join us on the Patreon at Pioneers and Trailblazers. We've got 2 separate tiers. One will give you access to like the bonus portion of the episode, which is traditionally like 40 plus minutes because we like to gab. And if you want to be a trusted believer, you get that plus just like vlogs from our daily lives, updates, and then a bonus extra episode every month. We really have been trying to get better at pumping more shit out on there too, but everyone seems to be enjoying it. So if you want to join there, we're going to be discussing something submitted from a 21-year-old male from Montreal named Dean. And Dean wants some advice or a topic, actually, when friends become less available after they get into a relationship. That's going to be really interesting because I feel like I can speak on that as well from a few of my friendships. And I feel like if we have more time, we can also dive into another one. There is a submission about this. Oh, we no. Actually, Dean had like it was like a 2-parter. It was about friends looking into relationships, and then this other one about. I forgot. I read this already, but about what happens when you have basically kind of like a situation with when you have like a friend and they're friends with someone that you don't like anymore, and like the dynamic of like like taking that. It's good. It's juicy. So we'll read it on the Patreon. But
Okay, you can follow us on Pioneers and Trailblazers on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you're a visual learner. If follow us wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow Peru at Hey Peru everywhere. You can follow me at nicholas.rose on Instagram.
this was good.
Clownface Binge on TikTok and Clownface Bitch on Twitter. We're so lucky that we have reached this incredible milestone. Thank you to the townspeople for the love and support for the past year and a half. We could not have done it without you, and we will continue to grow this town. And we'll see you next week.
Yay,
Bye.